Michelle the Bookworm here, and I wasn't originally going to film today. I was going to save all that for tomorrow, but I've kind of been doing a lot of prep work for the reading rush, and I thought, there might be some people out there who could really who would really be interested in the tips that I have in preparing for the reading rush. I also bought the reading journal that the Reading Rush gives out, or that the Reading Rush made this year. And I also want to share that with you because I'm really excited about it. I love blogging and doing my little book statistics. So I'm going to also share that with you. But first I want to share with you some tips that I have for having a successful reading rush. This is my third year doing the reading rush, and I feel like every single year I get a little bit better, and over the years I've learned that there are some different ways that you can some different tips that will help you be more successful in your reading rush, and I want to share them with you. So the first tip that I have for a successful reading rush is to plan ahead. I know that it's really hard to block out a whole week of just reading, and that there are going to be things that come up. But if you plan ahead, if you mark down essential dates in your calendar, you can kind of plan ahead and maybe make that day an easier reading day and make up for it in the next the next few days or whatnot. The second tip that I have for you kind of goes along with planning ahead, and that is set reading goals for every day. And that doesn't mean just your TBR. For this year, I really wanted to make sure that I was able to accomplish all of the challenges, but also make sure that I didn't kind of overdo myself for the books that I want to read. I want to read 4 books, and that's not something I've ever done before, and one of the books is pretty chunky. So what I ended up doing was I ended up breaking up some of the bigger books that I have into readable chunks. And I also set specific reading goals for that day. And I made the beginning of my week kind of harder. I kind of I ended up making my first 2 days just reading Children of Blood and Bone and The Girl on the Train, because those are my heavier books. Those are the chunkier books that I have. And that way, if you start out really heavy in the beginning, generally for these reading rushes, you are super excited, super stoked in the beginning, and then as the week goes on, you start to get a little bit bogged down with, how much reading you've been doing. So if you start out strong, and set your reading goals strong, even if you do kind of slow down a little bit and you're not quite meeting them, by the end of the week you have a lighter load, so maybe you'll be able to plan ahead and have that time towards the end of the week. Additionally, I have an easier day on Thursday. On Thursday, I'm purely listening to an audiobook. I'm going to be listening to Tarzan. So on Thursday, it's going to be an easy day. I'm going to be listening to Tarzan and also watching the movie. I'm also have a little bit of projects to do that I'm planning on doing while listening to my audiobook, just to give myself a break from all that reading, because I know sometimes just staring at a page or a screen for hours on end can be a little bit a lot. So yeah, that is my second tip. My third tip, again, goes alongside with the whole plan ahead, is mark important tasks in your calendar and then clear your schedule. So I understand that people are working during this time still, congratulations. I understand that, some people are taking summer classes, and I even have some important, some things that I want to do this week. I want to play D&D because that's something that I really, really enjoy doing. So I'm planning ahead, making sure that, okay, on Monday, tomorrow, I'm going to really need to buckle down because I'm going to be spending 4 hours of my day playing D&D. And so just kind of prioritizing and making sure that you're not procrastinating your reading, you're not leaving it off to the last minute, that you're really staying focused when it's reading time. And I think that the reading sprints will be super helpful for me this time. Just participating in those reading sprints and marking down when, making sure that this block of time is really just for reading, what is really personally going to help me. I'm going to try to do that. The fourth tip that I have kind of goes along with clearing your schedule is informing your friends and family what you're doing. I ended up texting my close friends and my family saying, hey, I know it's super nerdy, but I am not available this week. I'm not going to be available this week, so if you try to get a hold of me and want to hang out randomly, I'm not going to be available. I'm sorry. I'm doing the reading rush. If you want to see me, subscribe to my channel. And that way, and additionally, I even went a step further and asked, hey, I'm not going to be available this week. I'm not going to be available, the week of the reading rush. Do you want to hang out the week before? And that way I was able to hang out with my best friend. I was able to hang out with my sister and my mom and get all that social stuff out of the way. And that way, you still have that social interaction, but then, you're not telling your friends and your family, hey, screw off, you're not important to me. You prioritize them first so that you can make sure that you have that week for yourself. That doesn't mean that you can't go out and have coffee if you've got time. Be my guest. Everyone needs that break. But at least this way you don't have that social obligation and everybody knows ahead of time and nobody gets their feelings hurt. The fourth tip that I have for the reading rush, I actually was doing today. I'm still doing today, still working on that, is deep clean your house beforehand. I don't know about you, but every single time I sit down to relax and do something, I look around and I just see all this mess that I should be doing, and I guilt myself into not relaxing and not having fun. So in order to prevent that, get all your laundry done, get all your dishes done, clean your bathroom, make sure that your space is clean, and that you don't have that little nagging bit behind your head going, okay, I need to do this, I need to do dishes, oh my gosh, I'm such a slob. No, make sure that you take a break from reading today, which honestly I've been fasting reading anyways to prepare for this. And take a break and make sure that your space is clean, because nobody really wants to it's really hard to read and kind of escape when your environment is, needs to be worked on. You want to have that clear, peaceful environment to just escape into your own world. Tip number 5, and I've actually heard other booktubers suggest this as well, and something that I'm going to be doing, is meal prep. I know it sounds really silly, but if you want to spend as much time as you can reading, cooking takes an hour, plus out of your day. And so if you either make sure that you have your meals planned out ahead and it's really quick, really easy. I have a lot of sandwich making stuff in the refrigerator right now, so that's my lunches. I eat the same thing. I eat oatmeal every single day, so that's not going to be a problem. I also have a lot of healthy snacks so that I'm not eating a bunch of junk. I'm eating good, healthy stuff for the reading rush. And my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful I personally was going to meal prep, but my wonderful boyfriend, Gordy, I love you, actually offered to cook me dinner every single night, which he generally does anyways, but I wasn't expecting him to this time. He said that he was going to cook me dinner every night, so I don't have to worry about that, which is really sweet. Yeah, meal prepping ahead of time, just making, I don't know, a bunch of spaghetti and stroganoff and like boxing it up throughout the week. I would highly recommend that. The sixth tip that I have for you is to have multiple reading spots. It kind of, like, if you're in the same spot the entire reading rush, you're probably going to feel very lethargic. Like, get moving, get, like, you know, find some, like, new little reading nooks around your house. So my reading spot is going to be, like, if I want to be just alone and, like, in my own zone, I've set up my bed. I'm going to, like, my bed's all nice. I have my plants in here, and I'm just going to make it really, really cozy. And then I also have a spot on the couch that I can go and read at if I feel like, you know, being a little bit more social and like being out in the living room where Gordy is, and I don't mind that background noise. Just being able to switch between multiple reading spots can kind of like break up the monotony of reading, if that makes sense. Like just having a different environment can kind of feel like, ooh, it's like refreshing your brain a little bit. So that if you can read outside, great. I would highly suggest that. That is one of the challenges, is to read outside. Unfortunately, I'm personally not in an area where that's really feasible. The area where I'm at is near a college campus, so there's a lot of people out, and I just don't really feel safe being out in public places for an extended period of time at this current moment. My seventh and final suggestion is to have fun. Like, this is something, like, yes, it's a challenge, and I get that. I'm super competitive with myself. I have, like, a whole bunch of reading goals, but ultimately, it's supposed to be just a time where you have fun reading and delving into new worlds and possibly even making connections with other people who love to read. And it's just supposed to be about fun. So if you have a book that's like not doing it for you, pick up a different book. I mean, the challenges are great and all, but you don't have to stick with them. You can pick up a different book. You can, and if you're like really just in a reading book slump, like this book is not doing it for you, toss it aside. Pick up a new one. Like, you have those fluffy, like, manga or romance novels, whatever your favorite, like, fluff novel is. I have a bunch of graphic novels that I really enjoy that I got from college that, you know, I'm planning on, if I'm in a reading slump and this book's really not doing it for me, I can just pick up one of those. And just have fun with it. Just read as much as you can, participate in the challenges if you want to, and just enjoy yourself in the peace and serenity that comes with the reading rush. I also want to share with you my reading journal. I actually bought the Reading Rush's reading journal. Isn't that so pretty? I love the design. So I'm super excited about this because I love cataloging like how many pages I've done. I love like doing book statistics, how many pages I've done, and just like writing little like notes. I love analyzing my books. There's like a little like note from little notes from the publishers. And it talks about like how to participate, choosing your books, and like things you can do things you can do as part of the reading rush. They're doing badges now, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, there's a bunch of tips from the producers of the Reading Rush. It has down like all the reading challenges, and then it also has like Instagram and video challenges. I know the Reading Rush was kind of like, originally it was the booktubeathon, which was strictly on YouTube, but now they're branching out to Instagram as well. So to break up like kind of the monotony of just reading, I will possibly be doing some Instagram challenges. If you want to look into that, I will post a link to my Instagram down below. Yeah, it's just got a lot of cool things. You can color in your badge. There's a bunch of different like little mini badges, like read over 1,000 pages, or shared a bookstagram post, or completed all the reading challenges. And I'm just like, I think that that's such a cute thing. So another thing I wanted to share with you guys is this part of the book, which is looking back on years past. So there's a bunch of little questions about the reading rushes you participated in last year. So the first question is, what is your record number of books read during a readathon? My record so far is 2.5 books. I feel like every single year I get to that like 0.5 marker, and then like I usually don't get to 3, which is unfortunate. So, and the second question is, what is the hardest challenge you've ever done for a readathon? And for me, this one is the challenge of read a book that you meant to read last year. And this one's really hard for me because I feel like a lot of my books on my TBR are there because there's a reason why I've put them off. There's a reason why I haven't read them, and it's usually because they're not in my genre, or they're really long, or, you know, something like that. There's a reason why they've been on my TBR, and that's why I'm not interested in reading them. The next question is, have you ever read a new favorite book during a readathon? If so, what was it? Yes, I have. And that book was last year. I read The Shining by Stephen King. That is my favorite book by Stephen King now. I am a huge King fan. And it was just, it had everything I loved in horror. It had the creepy kids, and it had like psychics and ghosts, and I just loved it. I loved it. I loved it. The next question is, what is your favorite reading spot? My favorite reading spot is actually my couch, because when I'm in my bed, I generally read in my bed. When I'm going to sleep, I read on my Kindle, and like in my bed is where I usually like want to go to sleep. It's like I usually end up falling asleep if I'm reading in my bed. But on my couch, I am able to sit up more and kind of like be more interactive. There's a lot more things going on, and I'm less likely to fall asleep. I also usually have a lot of my plants are out in the living room, so I'm able to be surrounded by my beautiful, beautiful plants. The next question is, what is one readathon tip that you need to remember for this year? And my thing is no distractions. I feel like a lot of times I like plan, I make sure that my own like personal life, and I blocked this out for myself, but I never like told my friends and family, hey, I'm busy this week. But this year I did. And like I made plans with my family and friends ahead of time, like saying, hey, if you want to get together, this is the week to do it. Yeah, so I am not available this next week. I am purely reading, and I think that's, I just need to remember that. I need to remember that, sorry, like, I am busy. And it may seem frivolous, but yeah, I'm. A lot of people are going to look at me strange and go, okay, you're blowing me off for reading. But you know what? My good friends understand my crazy love for reading, so that's how you find out who your true friends are. The next question is, what is your favorite part about the reading rush? I think I jokingly say that like my favorite part about the reading rush is just having an excuse to do nothing but read for the full week, and that's super nice. But I also think that like it's a time to like unwind. A lot of times during this year, I'm like super like into my summer job. I currently don't have a summer job, but like I'm usually super into whatever projects I'm into at that moment. And this is just a really good excuse to just step back from all that, step back from like whatever I'm working on, step back from and just take a week to reset and like have a little staycation. For me, I think that that's like my favorite part about the reading rush is that it's all just like relaxing and like bringing it back to getting myself to recharge. And the last and final question is, how many books do you think you'll read during this reading rush? 4, maybe more if I finish my 4. That is my ultimate goal, is to read 4 books during this reading rush. And some of them are quite chunky, so we're gonna see. I plan on reading Children of Blood and Bone, The Girl on the Train, Tarzan, and Haunting Violet. So I can go ahead and leave you guys a link down below to my Reading Rush TBR if you'd like.